If the church is unwavering in its commitment to itself, it forces politicians to act.
Vatican-China deal has some very controversial aspects. Here's the last thing I'll say about it. Every bishop who is recognized, and this is an underground, guys, so you'd think much better, but they all have to swear to this oath when they come on. Here's the oath that they have to swear to. That he solemnly vowed to abide by the constitution and laws of the country, that's of China, safeguard the unity of the motherland and social harmony, love the country and the church, adhere to the principle of independent and self-running churches, adhere to the direction of synicization of the Catholic Church in our country, and contribute to the comprehensive construction of a modernized socialist country and the comprehensive advancement of the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation, end quote. Father, what's your take on this? Very confusing.
I wouldn't trust that situation for anything. I don't trust it at all. From the very outset, all I could think of were people like Cardinal Mindszenty. The agreement between the Vatican and the Communist Chinese, first of all, they're not letting anyone know what the agreement is. Now, I don't know that it's that way in China. I think China is very happy to broadcast what the agreement is because it's on their side. But I find it very disturbing that the Vatican doesn't let the Catholics all over the world know what that agreement is. These are our brothers and sisters in Christ. We've been supporting them in prayer, in sacrifice for about 60 years. I mean, this is incredible that we don't know what it is. And they're talking about what the agreement is. Just what is the agreement? And it sounds to me that the church is giving up all of her rights and also, which is most upsetting to me, betraying hundreds of thousands of Chinese who have given their lives defending the Catholic faith. I don't know how in the world this is justified. I don't get it. And what disturbs me a little bit more than that is that it's being held a secret. Why a secret? Why? We already know from the communist point of view what the arrangement is. I'd like to hear from the Catholic point of view, and that's not forthcoming. I don't appreciate that, and I think a lot of people don't. I know a lot of people don't.
Dee Laugenson, she's a faith and freedom activist in Washington. She wrote a piece for LifeSite a week and a bit ago, pointing out something really interesting, was that she wondered if you could almost say there wasn't a veritable Chinese spy in the conclave. And she was referring to Cardinal Stephen Chow. Cardinal Stephen Chow, a Jesuit, the new archbishop in Hong Kong, approved by the Communist Chinese Party. Very controversial character because he has praised Chinese church, patriotic church. In fact, he went and visited Beijing, where, of course, the head of the Chinese Patriotic Church, when he visited, it was very concerning to me because these are men who are real communist agents. This is the head of the what many people call the fake church in China, the CCP, it's the Communist Chinese Patriotic Church. They can celebrate at a mass. And I thought, sheesh, that's kind of overboard. He had him over to Hong Kong as well. And that kind of friendliness, praising of the Chinese government is very scary for a cardinal to make. And Dee wondered aloud if that wasn't, and why was that not being talked about? It is true. It's one of the thoughts that were going into the conclave, but it wasn't mentioned.
One thing to note is that the reason why politicians and political establishments are interested in curtailing the power of the church is because it's a threat to political power, or at least they see it as such. And why is that? Because it provides a parallel or rival explanatory power to the politics that they're pushing. And this becomes much more important if you have quite an extreme ideology like the Communist Party does. Now, you can see something very similar going on in Ukraine, where the Orthodox Church has been effectively disestablished by violence and replaced by a state-sanctioned version of it. And if you go back to the late 19th century, you had what was called a Kulturkampf in Germany, where Bismarck took on the Catholic Church and basically lost because he feared that it would divide political unity, and therefore his power in the new kind of German dispensation that he led What happened was that the church didn't bend. Bismarck lost because his suppression of the church doubled the political support for a party that defended it. So I think the lesson from history, if you care for that kind of thing, is that if the church is unwavering in its commitment to itself, it forces politicians to act that often undermine their own power. If you collude with them, however, there's no threat.
This is Jason Jones for LifeSite News. We hope you enjoyed this video. For more content like this, check the link in the description. You can also connect with us on social media to stay up to date with the latest news on life, faith, family, and freedom. Thanks for watching, and may God bless you.